Well, yeah, because we were looking at, like through the album and different songs. You talk about, having a song about science fiction or a song about, you know, anything that would be like Dungeons and Dragons or different lyrical stuff, and
Yeah,
like the Horsehead Nebula being more sci-fi and about space, and
yeah.
Firebird being what, more like a Phoenix Rising kind of deal, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. It's also very science fiction inspired. It's from this idea, which is mythological, of course, but it's also from a kind of a kind of a Jack Kirby comic book. If you don't know if you're familiar with that, but this. I've always been a huge Kirby fan, so there's lots of references to stuff which in my mind I see when I write this song. Sometimes I kind of see his drawings in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
like it's a comic made from him. And so, there was a lot of that stuff in When Lightning Strikes too,
Oh,
and here
sure.
as
Oh
well. And
yeah.
Firebird is inspired by that. It's this idea. It's like you could draw it like the Silver Surfer or something,
Oh, yeah,
and make
yeah.
it super cool.
Do you, well, and also I suppose the Phoenix Rising and that kind of theme, well, even Lord of a Dying Race, those kind of themes can translate to real life lessons too, I suppose,
Oh, I
which
can.
is
Yeah.
what your music does too, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. There was always my intent, to have this kind of metaphors. It's cool, and of course there's that all the fantastic epic side of it, which really fits the music.
Right.
But in the end, there's always something about real life in it. Also, for example, "True to the End," which is a song about this. Being warriors fighting to the end and being true to yourself, but
Right.
actually, yes, it's warriors in a fantasy kind of way, but it's also about yourself and your life, and the way to that you have to fight on and take whatever shit is thrown at you and try
Right.
to take it and react and be strong, and that's kind of wants to be inspirational. That song, it's a stand and fight forevermore. It says
Right?
that's the
Right.
meaning.
Well, and it's funny how they say that metalheads aren't smart or we don't have any depth or emotion, and yet we have this genre of music with this level of lyrical, writing and all of this that goes with it, and they don't even have a clue how amazing we are as far as a culture
You're
with this
right.
kind of music and
You're
emotion
right.
that goes with it, and they have no clue how far beyond them we are as a metal community.
We got to be proud of it.
Well, and we
Yes,
should
yes,
be. We
absolutely.
should be very proud of it because it speaks to how amazing as a metal community, as people, we are. We're smart, we're emotional, and we are amazing, and we have the resilience to bounce back through some pretty amazing shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think it's true. Although in generally speaking, honestly, I don't think metal people are either better or worse than anyone else.
Agreed.
It's not just your taste in music that makes you, a better person or a worse person, of course.
Sure.
But it's true what you say that there's a deep meaning into what we do, which makes this music not just music, but also a real subculture, and that's something that people from outside have a difficulty understanding sometimes.
I
But
think
it's
so too.
it's very helpful for us, to be able to see that reflected in other people around the world, and so the kind of the idea of a metal community is as much as it can be sometimes not taken seriously, but it really is there, I think.
Yeah, and it's very real, and it's really great
Yeah.
when you find that connection across the whole globe, really.
Definitely.
That we're all out there, and we're all connected by this wonderful thing called music.
Yes. No
Yeah.
boundaries.
Do you guys have favorite tracks on the album? Anything that you particularly like that stands out for you? Simone, do you have a favorite song that you like on this album in particular?
I love every song of the album, but
Good answer.
have to remind Chaos Lord, the title track, because it was the first idea came up to me, and when I sent it to Dario, the intro of Chaos Lord, it was an amazing day for me, because I used to record my ideas on a cell phone, on a mobile phone, with a bad audio track, and the first thing I do is sing the best part, like this, and then I record down and send to Dario the first idea that comes to me. Then we have to explode it, and this track is very powerful and bring us energy.
It's very cool because I was working on the song already, and when Simone sent me that riff, that bass riff, and told me, listen to this, would you like it? Did you like it? Could we use it? And I said, well, man, this fits perfectly with this song that I'm working on, which is yet incomplete. So let's put the two things together, and it worked out really, really well. So. It was the first song that we wrote working together, and it came out really great. So after that came Through to the End, which is another of my also for me, Chaos Lord is one of my favorite tracks, and also Through to the End, as I was saying, and that one was particularly cool because I'm a huge fan of Thin Lizzy.
I love Thin Lizzy.
Really huge fan. One of my favorite bands of all times, and the band which I am so sad that I never got to experience them live with Phil because I was too young when he died.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always a huge fan, and when Simone sent me we were working on the song, and he said, I have an idea for an interlude, for a musical interlude after the second chorus of the song. What do you think about it? And he sent me that riff, which is basically after the second chorus, which really sounds a lot like Thin Lizzy. So it was such a great moment for me, and I said, Guy, this is. It's perfect. I mean, if you send me stuff like this, I'll always use it.
You're channeling Phil, right? When you're playing your guitar, you're channeling a little of your inner Phil lineup, right?
Yeah. I mean, Phil and Gary Moore are more my all-time favorite musicians, so together with Ronnie James Dio. So those are really the key figures for me. So it's cool when we can pay a little homage to them, and we're not afraid of letting it show, through the music. So those are my favorite tracks, although, as Simone said, we really like all the songs on this record. We always felt, since the moment we finished recording it, that it was an album with basically no weak links, So that's what we felt since the very first moment when we listened to it after recording, and we still feel that it's very, very strong, so it's cool.
Awesome. Oh, I was going to ask, Simone, what you mentioned, because Dario mentioned, Ronnie James Dio and Phil Lynott. Who are your most favorite bass influences?
My best influences, the classical Steve Harris attitude on stage,
Okay.
and approach to the instrument. But I also like Marcus Grosskopf from Halloween, because he's an underrated bass player. But he stands on the back, but he writes very cool bass line. And also Jason Newsted from Metallica,
right?
With this strong capability of being so rocky, so steady, so precise. And there is a connection between these players, and later on, my influences came to the bass player with Symphony X, and so this subgenre of music. But I think those are the most meaning man bass players for me in this genre. The strongest one is Gedely from Rush. Okay,
okay.
with this is giant.
That man is a god. So
Yeah,
He's
oh
a
yeah.
giant.
Right, absolutely. Go ahead.
Oh,
You had a
I was
question?
going to ask you guys, do you have any hobbies outside the band?
I mean,
with
yeah.
your free time.
Does the
If you
band
do have
take
free
up all
time.
your time, or do you guys have time to do stuff outside of it?
well, for what concerns me, I really try to find the time to enjoy the stuff that I've always enjoyed, which is comic books and video games. So, apart from the time which is dedicated to music, which is a lot because I have, other than Drakkar, I also have my other doom metal band, Crimson Dawn, which is also very active.
Yep.
And so it's a lot of stuff. And of course, my lovely family with my wife and young daughter. But I always try to find the time to read a few comics because I've always in love with comics since I was a little kid. And the other thing is video games because I also work in the field. Basically, my day job is basically organizing translations and dubbings for the video games industry.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so that's another thing, and I consider myself very lucky that I'm able to be working on something which I really enjoy. So I wasn't able to make music into something that
Like
pay the bills.
the full-time
but
job,
at
yeah.
least,
Yeah.
But at least I could find another passion of mine and work in that field. So that's super great to me, and so video games are another big passion of mine. I think Simone shares some of these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to repeat Dario's words. Also, comics and games are my passion since I was a kid. I was a player in the industry also because I was a GameStop store manager for almost 14 years.
Oh, wow.
In my country, yeah. So I sold my knowledge about the video games and passion. Yeah. But,
So Dario's buying games from you.
We are not in the same town, but if it was possible, I would get games. I had only one other passion for me is running and taking trip and journeys to mountain and woods with my friends, and so do some trekking. And I love nature. I love water and waterfalls and places like this. So I like to explore countryside,
That's awesome.
which is very funny, and going outside when it's possible. Yeah,
Right, right.
far from people. Okay.